Alright, in the last video we created a brand new project, we customized the label, and then now we need to play with the sprites a little bit, and we're going to look at touches began and the update function. Touches began is a function that will be called whenever someone touches the screen on your app. People have more than one finger, so when your app is being used, there can be more than one touch on the screen. And when this function is called, all of the current touches that are detected are in this variable touches. When we say for touch in touches, we're saying run this block, what's between these two braces, once for every touch that's on the screen. So if we have one finger, this will happen once. If we have two fingers, it'll happen twice, 3 fingers, and so on. So we set the location, let location equals the touch location. And we're creating a new sprite with an image named spaceship. We're going to talk a lot about sprites during this series, but essentially a sprite is an image in your scene. So if we have a hero, that will be a sprite. If we have an enemy, the enemy will be a sprite. Bullets are often sprites. Maybe a box that our hero jumps on will be a sprite. Basically everything in your game will be represented by a sprite, everything you can see anyway. Let's take a look at some sprites from Super Mario Bros. So here you can see the sprites for Goombas, or for flying turtles, or regular turtles, the Beatles, Koopas, Bowser. Here's some sprites for Mario, and one of the things you need to know is that sprites can be animated, right? So with Mario, we're typically only ever showing one frame of the animation at a given time, but the sprite would be Mario, and Mario is represented by one of these images at any given time. That said, the sprite can be animated, and in our own games our sprites can be animated too. But Mario in this case would be the sprite, and these would be the different frames of the animation that you can use for the sprite. So notice how we're creating a sprite node with an image named spaceship. Well, where is that spaceship coming from? Well, in building our apps, we're storing our images in this file, images.xcassets. If you click over here, you can see a couple of assets. We have the app icon, a launch image, and a spaceship. I happen to have an image of a blue alien by Kenny right here. And so I'm going to drag this blue alien image into my images.xcassets. There we go. Now hop back over to gamescene.swift. Can you guess what we need to do to change our image back to an alien? You're right. We need to change the name of the image in our code. So change the image here. We're going to call it Blue Alien. Save the file and run the game. And we'll click around. Great, we've got our adorable little alien here instead of the spaceship. Now, I want to warn you about something. Right here when we say sprite node with an image named Blue Alien, this is called case sensitive. It has to be entered exactly as the file name that you have in images.xcassets. So notice here that Blue Alien has a lowercase b at the beginning. If I had accidentally, instead of putting the lowercase b, if I'd put an uppercase b, save the file and try to run it, then you can see when I click around, I get these red X's everywhere, and I get errors over here saying that it can't load the image resource Blue Alien. So if you added your own image, and then when you tried clicking around, you got these X's, spinning X's everywhere, the problem is that it couldn't find the image that you specified. So go back, check, and make sure that you typed it in precisely to match what the file name is called. Now, I feel like my alien is a little bit small, and you can see in the code that we're setting the X scale equal to 0.5 and the Y scale equal to 0.5. The X scale and the Y scale, these affect how we want to scale the image, or scale the sprite rather. By setting it to 0.5, what we're saying is set it to 50% of its natural size. I want to let this sprite be its natural size, so I'm going to set this to 1.0. 1.0. Save it, run. Click around. There we go. Now our alien's much bigger and it's a lot easier to see. The last function that we need to look at is update. The update function is called before each frame is rendered. So if your app is running at 30 frames per second, then update will be called 30 times per second. Update is where we're going to put a lot of the logic to update our game as the user is playing. We'll talk a lot more about the update function in a future video. But now you know how to create a new project, open up files and make your own changes, compile your own games. So I'd encourage you to poke around. Don't be afraid to break things and make errors. We just generated this from a template and you can always regenerate it again. So play around with this. Over the next few videos, we're going to be creating a full game. We're going to show you how to implement Flappy Bird from empty folder all the way to the App Store. So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you'll know right away when new videos are released. All right, see you next time.